I've been wanting to talk about this for so long. Thank you for commenting this. This person understands the difference between the two things that I'm going to talk about, but I've had so many people comment not understanding the difference, and I didn't want to use their comment to like call them out and say like, oh, it's not what you think it is. But I have had so many people comment saying that their baby flatlined and they had to have a C-section. But it is not what you think it is, okay? When someone says that someone's flatlined, this is what we think of, right? Grey's Anatomy, their heart has stopped, okay? There's no more heartbeat. But in OB, it means something totally different to say that your baby has a flat line, okay? So I know it's a very small distinction, okay? But flatlining in the medical world means your heart has stopped, right? But your baby having a flat line is something totally different. And it was something that was very confusing to me as an emergency room nurse going into OB. Because I was used to seeing heart rates that look like this, okay? And I'm used to seeing DEAD patients with rhythms that look like this. And I come on this unit with all these monitors all around and nobody's getting concerned that a baby looks like this. I was like, what is wrong with y'all? That baby is in VFib. But when you're an adult and we're doing an EKG, we're looking at the heart rate like at each individual beat, okay? But on labor and delivery, we're looking at the heart rate, not the rhythm, okay? So you see all these numbers here on the side, or you may be able to see them here. You see like this goes up. So we got 30 to 240, okay? And in this blue area, that is where we would like a baby's heart rate to fall, anywhere from like 110 to 160. And you see how squiggly that line is? We love squiggly lines. That's called moderate variability, which tells us that our baby is doing okay. The reason that the heart rate goes up and down is because there are two different nervous systems that are arguing with each other. The sympathetic nervous system, which is always mature from the moment you have a heartbeat, that's what's driving it, okay? That's your fight or flight. But as your baby develops and becomes more mature, the parasympathetic nervous system comes into play. And the sympathetic nervous system, which is the one that is always mature, wants your heart rate to be high. And the parasympathetic nervous system wants your heart rate to be low. So the squiggliness of this line tells us that your baby has enough energy for those two nervous systems to argue with each other, okay? But when your baby's nervous systems start not so much to argue with each other, and they really start to kind of not have the energy anymore to fight, that tells us that your baby could be in trouble. This flatter line, or a flat line, tells us that your baby is in distress or is asleep. But like if I see this for an extended amount of time past like 20-30 minutes, that tells me something more is going on here. But when people hear flatline, they think my baby's heart has stopped. But that's not what that means at all. Your baby still has a great heart rate of 150. But if we see a flat line, which could be minimal or absent variability, what that tells us is I'm conserving all of my energy because I don't have energy left. So there's some things that we can do to see if this is just baby sleeping or if this could be something dangerous. One of the things we can do is to try something called scalp stim, which is basically doing a cervical exam and giving your baby a little scratchy on the head. Just with our finger, nothing crazy. It's just like, hey baby, are you awake in there? And if we see like an acceleration, that says, oh, okay, I'm okay right now. But if we don't see an acceleration, that says, I feel you, but I can't even respond to you right now. Anytime that someone tells me that their baby's heart stopped or that they flatlined, in my mind, what I'm thinking is that your baby had minimal or absent variability, meaning that they very much still had a heart rate, but it doesn't look like it to the untrained eye on the monitor. It just looks like beep. It just means that your baby wasn't able to change their heart rate from 150, 155, 145, 152. It just means that it didn't have the reserve or the energy to be able to do those changes. So thank you so much for commenting this. I'm so glad that you were explained what exactly that means. A lot of people aren't, and thank you for letting me explain this using your comment.